What do you do if you're struggling with your trumpet technique, reading, or endurance? Because either you're a newer player and you're still working on all of this, or if you're like me, you used to play a lot, but you've been away from it for years and years, not playing nearly as much as you used to. And it's cost you your technique, your reading, and your endurance. Hi there, I'm Deanna. I used to play trumpet a lot. I have a Bachelor of Music degree. I've competed at the national level a couple of times. And I used to be in the military as a musician for 25 years. I used to be able to play music like this. And this. And also this. I also was a conductor of my own military band for 9 years. I love music. I love playing the trumpet. But 20 years ago, I left my full-time music job to go back to school in a completely different area. With the career change, my ability to play like I had before dropped, and I was down to maybe 5-10 minutes a day. Sometimes I wasn't playing at all for weeks and months. Periodically, something would come along and I had to play, or I wanted to play, an opportunity came, dust it off, work on the piece, find a bit of endurance, hope my technique would hang in there, play. And then I was back to a few minutes here and there when I could squeeze it in. What that cost me was my skills. Skills that I had spent hours and hours in a practice room developing for years on end. My reading, my technique, my endurance, all have diminished from the fact that I haven't been playing. Use it or lose it, as they say. And well, I became proof of that. And while I was able to maintain my foundational skills with the 5 to 10 minutes, I can still play. I can't play the way I could here. I'm going to tell you my plan for bringing my skills back up and hopefully beyond where I was before. But first, in a way, I've already started, and it started last year. Things changed in my life, and I was able to play in a couple of ensembles, 4 to be specific. Flash forward to today, even with all of the playing I did last year, I'm still working on, struggling a little with, developing my technique again, bringing back my reading skills, and rebuilding the endurance that I used to have. Can you relate to this? Let me know in the comments. So how do you build or rebuild these skills? Well, I can tell you one of the things that I'm going to do, and I'm going to be sharing it on the channel. I'm going to be adopting the beginner's mindset. I've decided to go back, challenge myself to go back, and redo a study book I did when I was much younger. I'm going to work through it from the beginning and go through study after study after study, cover to cover. As I work through each study, when I can play it again well enough, I'll post it on the channel. And I'll also share whatever struggles I ran into, whether it was technique or reading, maybe endurance, that I ran into and how I worked on resolving them so that I could play the piece again. To help me relearn these studies, I'm going to be digging into my past, pulling up the strategies I worked on and developed and figured out when I was much younger and sitting in a practice room for hours on end, developing those skills that I want to get back. Perhaps my journey through this book that I'll show you in a sec, perhaps it can help you too, because I think that this is going to be a great launching point for talking about so many things about trumpet playing. The study book I've picked is Clodomir's 70 Little Studies. I picked this book because it starts with quarter notes and half notes. But by the end of the book, well, basically you'll have done trumpet acrobatics, as I like to call it, to a certain extent. This book hits everything. It's got finger dexterity challenges, rhythmic challenges, tonguing, single and multiple tonguing challenges, and finally intervals, jumps all over the place, both tongued and slurred. If you can play this book, you can play the trumpet. So I'm going to play the first study in just a moment, but first, if you want to come along for the ride, and we've got a lot of ground to cover, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. All right, that's it. Let's play Clodomir, 70 Little Studies, page 1, number 1, go.